how to create a colourful abstract design like that in Affinity Photo. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to recreate it exactly the same, so I'm just going to go through the steps of creating something very similar. Now, this uses the mirror as well as selections and gradient tool. So you can create some lovely mirror effects where you've got different origin points across the image. So how to do that? I'm just going to remove all that. And the key thing here, 2 panels, swatches and layers. So go to View and you can find all the panels in here. So if you want a panel, just go to Layers and Swatches. Of course, you could use some of the others if you wish. You could record this. Of course, you could use macros, library, etc. But I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to go with the gradient tool. So there's gradient tool. Now, the gradient tool, sadly, does not have a blending mode. Would be really nice, but a workaround is good old layers. You can apply the gradient to a layer and then another gradient on another layer and then combine them. So that's what I'm going to do first. So first thing, go there, gradient tool, and you need a layer. So layer and new layer. Now I'm just going to move that over there. You can see now I've got a layer, a pixel layer, and I can add a gradient to that. Now it defaults always to this white and grey. I don't know why. It would be nice if it defaulted to something else, maybe the last used. It doesn't do that. What you can do, you can go to swatches and then you go down to greys, colours and gradients. Now you might have a different set. Now I've got obviously created a few and I've got tutorials about how to create gradients. So if you want to check those out, and also I'll do new ones to show how to add gradients. And I'm just going to select one. And what I can do, I can resize it and I can reposition it. Oops, just move that slightly. Let's push that back there. Now, of course, that's on one layer. What I can do is next, I can add another layer. So layer and new layer. I've got 2 new layers. So one and there. Go to the gradient tool. And again, sadly, it defaults back to the white and grey. Would be nice if it didn't, but it does. So swatches, quick way around that. And I can then resize that. Now, unfortunately, it always moves it. So I'm just going to move it back there. And then I've got layers. So you can see the layers. You've got blending modes. So you can go to blending modes and you can run through those. And you just create some more interesting design. That looks quite nice. So difference. Difference is always a good one. Maybe lighten, etc. So with that, what I can do, I can now merge it. So layer, I can use merge down. Put it all into one complete layer. Now that's a more interesting gradient than a basic gradient. It'd be very hard to create that gradient normally. So what you can then do is you can use selections. Now you of course could use standard rectangular marquee tool, perfectly reasonable, but I'm going to use freehand. So with freehand, I'm just going to create a quick freehand one there. Now I could give perfectly reasonable go with that, but what I can do, I can go along the top here, and there's an option for add. So I can add that. I'm just going to move that out of the way. I don't want that anymore. And I can add there. So you can create a slightly more interesting selection over the image. And I'm creating there. Now I don't have to use that. I could use just one, of course, perfectly reasonable, but I've got more than that. Then you go to select, and I like feather. I like to go with the feather, so feather selection, and I can change that so you can see that. So what happens, you get more of the effect applied outside. So apply. What I'm going to do is going to go with filters and distort and mirror. Now the mirror is great for creating a mirror effect, but you can move the origin point, so you can see the origin point moving up and down there. And now this is number of mirrors, just got one at the moment. But if I go for say 10, I can vary that, of course. You can see as you move the origin point, the origin, but it only applies to that selection. So you can go all the way over that image there. And of course you can just find something you really like, maybe like that. I'm going to stop. And you can also change the input. So you can, oh, that looks nice as well. And you can change the output. So you can reposition it, modify it in numerous ways. So click apply. Now what you can do, now I can't move that selection until I go back to say like the rectangular marquee tool. And then you get this little cursor change. Obviously when you're there, it's not, But there it is. And what you can do, you can move it. I can move it to a different position, say over there. And then I can go back to the filters. And I can go to distort. Now I could use repeat, but I don't like that option because it basically just uses the current mirror. I don't want that. What I want is to add a new mirror, a new origin point. So distort and mirror. And again, you can see the result of the mirror. You've got the origin point there. Number of mirrors, you can just change that. Go to different positions. You don't have to keep within the selection, of course. You can move out there, perfectly reasonable, but the result will be added into that selection. And the rest of the image will be untouched. So you can create different design. I'm just going to go with something, otherwise just keep going backwards and forwards. So position it there. Again, what I can do, I can change the input. You can see the design there. And you change the output as well if you want. So you can move that around and you can see the result in that selection. Click apply. So what you can then do, of course, go back to here and you can move it again. So move it over to there. And then go to filters. Again, you could use repeat, but I don't want that. I want a different origin point. So distort and mirror. You can see again, always defaults back to number 1. I wish it would default to the one that I was using last. It would be nice. Because I often go for like 10 or 6 or whatever. Don't go for 1 generally. And then you can change that. And you can change the origin point. So move that around. And then you can create a nice design there. Click apply. And then you can deselect if you want. So of course you've got that design there. Of course you can apply various colour effects, maybe other effects as well. You can also, of course, simply go to distort and mirror. Maybe do that. Change input. Apply, and then go back again to using selection. Maybe a different one, and maybe just one this time. You don't have to use, obviously, a complex one. So you've got that selection there. Again, if you want, go to select and feather. Creates a nice blurry effect. Apply, and then go to filters, distort and mirror. And number of mirrors, just go there and just change the position. And change input. So you can create some very, very abstract designs using this approach. Apply, and then of course go back to rectangular so you can actually move it. Also, you could of course just create a new selection, perfectly reasonable. And then you can go to filters and distort and mirror. And then just apply it there. Again, move that over there, filter, distort and mirror. A different origin point there. And again, you could change input if you wish. Apply. And so on and so on. So you can see you can create far more interesting mirror effect than just having a straight basic mirror. With this gradient, with selections and the mirror tool, mirror filter. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to Graphic Extra channel. Always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer and Illustrator and many others. Also, please add some comments. Always nice to hear some comments, whether you like it or whether you don't, and dislike or like. Thank you much.